Gen Zs are taking their parents with them on interviews.
All right, and we're joining?
Bringing mom to my job interview?
Hi, Jake. Hi, Jake. How are you? I'm JC's mom. I hope it's okay that I joined the call.
This generation now is finding out really quick why older generations just don't care. This is not like older generations before looking down on them. Is this laziness, delusion, simply not wanting to work? Let's take a few clips and find out for ourselves.
A new study revealing Gen Z is having their parents, get this, join interviews and even call their bosses. CBS News Miami's Jim Barry went to a career expert about the alarming findings.
New data from resumetemplates.com shows parents are applying for jobs, joining interviews, and even contacting managers on behalf of their Gen Z kids, and they're doing it at high rates. Joining me now is Julia Toothaker, a chief career strategist with Resume Templates. Julia, I have to tell you, I was floored when I read this. Were you as stunned as I am about what you found?
I could not believe how many parents actually sat in on interviews with their kids, either virtually or sometimes in person. That absolutely floored me.
So what are the employers saying about this?
I can't imagine that most employers are happy about it. I think that it really shows a lack of maturity in the kids and the Gen Zers that are doing this. But I'm sure that there are some employers, especially of smaller organizations, I think of those mom and pop shops that are probably okay with it, but I would not think that that is the norm.
And what's the dynamic that's triggering this? Are kids socially awkward? Are the parents nervous that their kids won't get a job? What is it?
I think it's all of that. I think, we have a generation that has been called the anxious generation. And I think that that's some of what we're seeing in this behavior from parents. But I also think that parents see what's going on in terms of getting a job, and they know that it's a lot more difficult. And so I think they think that they're trying to help their kids, but when in reality, it's holding their kids back because they need to be more independent in the workplace.
These are the same millennials and Gen Z that complain that we had it easier when our pay was $3.35 an hour, saying it was cheaper back then. Yeah, we made $3.35 an hour. It's all relative. And a parent can raise their child any way they want. But stop complaining when you are coddling your children. Don't complain now. It's too late. You did this to them. And they have some responsibility also.
I was just going to say, if I'm an employer and the mama shows up at the job interview, I'm thinking maybe this kid's not ready.
Exactly. I think most employers are going to think that way, especially when you get into more of a corporate space. You have to be able to act independently. You can't have your parent speaking on your behalf. Maybe in some very unique situations, they can call in if you're ill or something happens, but that's very, very rare.
The audacity that these millennials and Gen Z said we had it easier when we had to physically go in, fill out a paper application to see if a job was available first. They get to do their interviews remotely and work remotely. I mean, the delusion.
Gen Zs are getting fired at alarming rates. My dad just sent me this article which talks about how 6 in 10 employers are already talking about firing the Gen Zs they hired only a couple months ago. According to the article, here's a reason why a lot of the Gen Zs are getting canned. They come unprepared to do the job at hand. Number 2, genuinely not wanting to do the work. Gen Zs want to arrive late and leave early and do the absolute bare minimum and generally are very low initiative. It is unreasonable to expect a great work-life balance, high-paying job straight out of college. Number 3, being unprofessional and generally having very poor communication skills. So work hard during college, have realistic expectations when you get out of college, learn how to be professional and communicate effectively.
I just got fired from my job for being sick. I got hired on March 7th. Somehow I got sick during my interview and I brought home a virus. Told them I wasn't going to be there. I finally get my training done and I'm in the classroom and I get a stomach bug. This is like a week and a half after I got over the cold. So I told them I can't come to work. I'm on the toilet. After the stomach bug, I caught a head cold. And these were like back to back to back. There was literally a couple of days in between each of these sicknesses. I have a head cold now and I have a fever. Can't go to work. In between all of this, me getting sick, I had 2 court hearings that I had to be there for. That should have been excused I finally get over the head cold and I get a chest cold, which I have right now. So then on Tuesday, I called out because I had a fever. I was really sick. I get called to go to HR's office and she terminates me for my attendance.
Now, before you all start throwing a pity party for this one, from what I could find, she started calling out before she started working the job after they offered it to her. So no pity.
Today I just wanted to hop on the call really quick to discuss the quarter this year because there was an increase in sales of like 30%, and I think the clients were really happy with our work because they gave us like really good feedback.
Alyssa?
Yeah?
Where are you right now?
I'm at Honest Hours Nail Salon.
Okay, but during working hours?
I mean, I'm working and I'm also doing this at the same time. Like, I'm just multitasking.
Okay, but these are still working hours and we do expect you to be at your desk.
I mean, this is a really cozy working environment though. Like, let me show you, hold on. See? Like, I can work here. There's nothing wrong. Like, there's nobody else that's disturbing or anything. See my nails?
Okay, you know what, Alyssa, I think, can we like get on a one-on-one later to discuss this arrangement? Yeah, that, or like, can everyone just hop off the call and like, I'll have a discussion with Alyssa real quick.
Okay,
I encountered this when I was working in corporate with a woman attending family functions or personal functions with her children, having meetings when she was supposed to be working. A man can't get away with this, but women justify it.
After I got my accounting diploma, I worked 2 back-to-back accounting roles for 2 different companies, and I got fired from both of them within the same year. My first accounting role, I got in so much for being on my phone all the time because the role was just so boring. The company culture also sucked because there were so many snitches. Like, literally random people would walk by my desk and tell management anytime I was on my phone. Obviously, after my first warning, I didn't go on my phone as much, and people would still snitch on me if I was doing something as little as like changing the song or like changing the podcast that I was listening to. It got so bad that management physically moved my desk to be in front of her desk so she could watch and make sure that I wasn't on my phone. She would have rather that I just click around the screen on my computer if I ran out of work and after I reviewed everything already. They were also so cliquey. Like, I hated going to lunch, and it was like such a high school vibe because like the management would literally be like that group of girls that would like whisper among each other and like point and like laugh. Anyway, that made me realize I didn't like being micromanaged, so I didn't really care about getting fired from there. Plus, they were barely paying me anything. In the next accounting role, this girl that was like the all-star employee just had it out for me. A recruiter got me that job and I didn't have any problems. He only said that it was 8-hour days and I could start anytime between 6 and 9. I was like, okay, cool, and I did my job, and then halfway into my contract on Black Friday, my recruiter visited me to let me know that he talked to HR and HR thinks that I'm doing a really good job. He was like, keep up the good work, reward yourself with some good Friday shopping today, and I did. In the middle of me shopping, like I was at checkout, the HR of that company called me and was like, yeah, we're gonna have to let you go. He was mad about it too. Like, he was like, don't bother coming in to get your stuff, we'll get it mailed to you. And I was like, what happened? And apparently the all-star employee was talking mad about me.
When this generation tries to defend this, they know darn well that they wouldn't hire an employee like her, or rather say they wouldn't keep her once they found out. But this is a new world now. This is the world we live in, and it will not correct itself. This is the type of Muppet that believes she did absolutely nothing wrong.
Everybody keeps asking me why I got fired from my job. I didn't do anything. I didn't do anything for 15 months, and they found out.
See, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out.
Gen Zs are taking their parents with them on interviews.
All right, and we're joining.
Bringing mom to my job interview?
Hi, Jake. Hi, Jake. How are you? I'm JC's mom. I hope it's okay that I joined the call. I just have a few questions about the company.
Hello, Cash.
This isn't Cash. It's Tanya, Cash's mom. We've met before.
Oh, hi, Tanya. Yeah, I remember. You sat in on Cash's interview the whole time.
Yes. Wasn't that a great interview?
He did great, yeah.
Well, that's actually why I'm calling. I think it's about time Cash got a raise. Oh, the poor boy can barely afford his fortnight skins. He's eating dinner at my house every night.
Raises happen regularly.
Right. But Cash is clearly special, right? Better than your other employees.
Well, he is.
He is what? Amazing? Your best worker?
He's definitely a great employee, Tanya. But I'm actually just not directly involved in salary decisions.
Right. Of course you're not. Of course not. Classic corporate, taking advantage of a poor, hardworking boy.
I'm sure he's doing fine.
No, Jamie. No, he's not. He hasn't even done his laundry in weeks. Guess who's picking up that slack?
Tanya, I don't think that.
You know what? Forget it. I'll just tell Cash to start a union.
I don't know if you guys caught that at the end. The mother said she will just tell Cash to start a union, her son. So she's putting this all on social media or whatever, and now other employers are going to see this. Sometimes you got to be glad when people are putting their lives and confessing themselves online. This is just like now that people in India and the Philippines are complaining about AI is on the way of taking their call center jobs. Well, nobody cares in the States because you took those jobs or they're given to you by Americans. That's a topic for another time.
New survey revealing that more Gen Zers are bringing their parents to job interviews. 77% admit they've had mom or dad tag along for an interview, while more than half say their parents have spoken to a hiring manager on their behalf. And check this out, 73% have their parents help them complete work assignments. Here to react, campus reform reporter Emily Sturge. Emily, my mind's exploding when it comes to this story. I'm having trouble believing this is real because when I think of this report and I think of my generation, all those numbers would have been zero across the board. So I guess my question to you is this really a thing among your peers?
I'm a member of Gen Z. I've personally witnessed some of these behaviors among my peers, but it's not just me saying that. Another survey of over 700 hiring managers actually found that over half of them had witnessed these behaviors. Said that interviews that they had with Gen Zers, they found unprofessional behavior, they found lack of preparedness. So it's really hard to have sympathy for a generation that is really showing these behaviors in interviews. I mean, the reality is Gen Z is entering into a pretty tough job market. Just 12% of Gen Zers graduate school with jobs secured, and then 60% of them remain unemployed after graduation. But like I said, it's hard to have sympathy for a generation that is showing these behaviors in job interviews, bringing their moms to interviews, having moms call hiring managers. I don't think that if you show those behaviors, you can expect to clock in on Monday.
But it begs the question, why? Why is this happening? Because it's not normal. It's not the way it has been done since the dawn of time. Why is this happening right now with this generation?
Gen Zers are still living at home with their parents due to things like high housing costs. And a 2023 poll actually revealed that 45% of 18 to 29-year-olds are still living at home. That's a level we haven't seen in this country since the Great Depression. So when you have parents helping you out with chores, making the financial decisions, actually handling all the decision making, it's not too shocking that when Gen Zers leave the home and go into the workplace, they expect some of that same treatment. And that's why we see so many Gen Zers still depending on parents, even when they're in the workplace.
Okay, but are parents somewhat to blame for not letting their kids fail?
You know, I think there's a parenting issue here. There's also an educational issue. I don't think parents are completely to blame. I think we also need to look at our college campuses and the coddling culture that's present there. And at the Leadership Institute's campus reform, I reported back when Trump won the election that universities like Georgetown University gave students milk and cookies and Legos and crayons to cope with the hard election results. Just this past spring, it was exam season at Indiana University. They gave students Care Bears and ice cream sundaes. So when universities are handing Generation Z ice cream sundaes and Care Bears, then they're leaving campuses. They have that mindset and they're taking it to the corporate world.
Ice cream and Care Bears. This is exactly why I don't take any advice or listen to anything that someone of this generation has to say. They have no work history. They have no life history. This is just something that can't be helped by parents. Everyone is responsible for themselves. Period.
I'm literally 6 months into my first corporate job and I already want to quit. I work 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Actually, no, it's more like 8 to 5. And sometimes it's like 5 to 5. I'll be going through my work week and then by the time it gets to Friday, I'm just so exhausted to the fact where like I can't do anything on the weekend anymore. Something needs to change in this like work culture because like this is not cutting it. Because I'm not going to go through my entire life working for like 40 years and then like I wake up one day and I think about it and I'm like, wow, it's been 40 years and I've done literally nothing. The only caveat with quitting this job is that I will not have any money. So because I'm not going to go through my entire life working for like 40 years and then like I wake up one day and I think about it and I'm like, wow, it's been 40 years and I've done literally nothing. The only caveat with quitting this job is that I will not have any money.
I'm just so sick of like the 9 to 5 corporate America. And the thing is, I just got here. I'm 2 years in and I'm already over it. Like the politics, the climbing up the ladder, the people in the room telling you have to work like extra hard, just make it up to the next level. But this whole thing of like, we spend 40 hours of the week at work just to survive in corporate America and then survive in America and then just survive. Like, I'm so over this. Like, I have a strong like urge to live abroad.
She just said live abroad. How do you expect to pay for things abroad?
I believe I'm saying this, but I've recently resigned from my 9 to 5 corporate job that I was in for about a year and a half, and I hated it. So here's 4 things I learned about the corporate world in my 1.5 years of. For one, what the is with all these silent rules and expectations, like the expectation that you'll come in early and stay back late, but like no one talks about it. It's just like expected. But you're paying me till 5 p.m. I'm sorry, I'm out of here at 5 on the dot, babe. Also the expectation to like arrive 10 to 15 minutes early. It takes me literally 30 seconds to turn on my computer. As long as I'm at my desk doing my work at 8:30 when I start, why the does it matter if I'm there 10 minutes early? I will be at my desk at 8:30 till 5 and I will have a 1 hour lunch break where I will leave the office, and that's that. Okay, number 2, dressing up in cute corporate girly fits is like the biggest novelty for like the first few weeks, and then it wears off very, very quickly when you realize that you're trapped in an office all day staring at a screen, talking to people that you don't like. Number 3 is that it's actually really exhausting and draining, and I know some people would like be like it's an office job, you're sitting at a desk all day. While it's not physically draining, it is mentally and emotionally exhausting. Seriously, staring at a screen for 8 hours a day, like I literally had to go get an eye test because like I started getting these little like dust particle things that like fly around in my eye, and it still happens now, and it only started when I fucking started looking at a screen every single day.
I had to cut her short, guys. She wouldn't take a cup of shut the up. She just started ranting. But anyway, she said she got tired of looking at the screen every day. That is all this generation does, is look at their phone every day and scroll. Let me calm down here. What do they want? Are they just complaining? They say they don't want to work for 40, 50 years. What do you want?
I do not want to work in corporate America anymore. Like, I just want to go get a little retail job that I don't care about and just have enough money to pay the bills and do what I want. Like, I don't need to climb the ladder. Like, working in corporate is not it. I worked for 4 different major banks in different departments, and I just don't like it. Like, when I worked at Capital One, I liked the people, but I didn't like the work. Like, people think, we're always taught, go to college, you get a job in your field, get a good corporate job with benefits, good pay, whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But the stress, like waking up and dreading going to work, but you feel like you have to because it's a good job, it's a good pay. Like, I just don't want to deal with it anymore. I had less stress working front desk at the Courtyard Marriott, okay? Getting cussed out by people. It was less stress. Like, working in corporate America, it's just a bunch of people who think that their dookie don't stink, and it's just like high school, and they want you to care so much about the job. Like, I just don't want to work in corporate America anymore. And it's just like, I feel like you're looked down upon. Like, if I were to leave this type of job and like go work, a job that's not, this, advanced, it would be like, people would look at me like, you have a college degree and that's what you're going to do with it? That's beneath you. Like, I don't know. But I don't know, but I do know that this ain't going to work. And I'm tired of going to work and not liking it.
She just answered my question. So she needs a job petting puppies all day, something she likes to do. Cool.
I am the only person in my office that takes a 1 hour lunch. The only person. I'm the youngest person. I'm not going to say my age, but I am the youngest person and the only person that takes a 1 hour lunch. We come in at 7 a.m. and we leave at 5 p.m. Those are 10-hour days. So those are 50-hour weeks. We're salary. We don't get paid for 50-hour weeks. We get paid for 40-hour weeks. Nobody takes an hour lunch. I take my hour lunch because why not? And then I feel like, you know, these judgmental stares when I come back in, like, I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm not doing this. Work-life balance. Isn't that what I got interviewed for? You guys said, we care about work-life balance, blah, blah, blah. They're always trying to sell you this dream, paint you this picture. I'm so tired of these jobs. If you're my boss, I'm just kidding.
I quit my corporate job like 9 months ago, whenever March was. And I want to just give you a little insight on what it's actually like to quit your corporate job in your 20s. The first thing you're probably going to realize is how boring it is to not have a job. The other thing you're going to realize extremely quick is how scary it is to be money scarce, not have a guaranteed paycheck coming to you. And I had money saved up to sort of keep me going, but even right now, like, those funds are running low, and it's kind of making me piss my pants.
4 months ago, I decided to quit my corporate job of 8 years and leave all of my financial security and security blanket that I had behind to try and go out and find something more meaningful for me to do. I'm 30 years old and I have no home and no job. Yes, you did hear that correctly.
I put in my 2 weeks at my job and tomorrow's my last day. That job paid me $90,000 a year almost, and it was the most money I've ever made in my life. It was stable, it was fine, and I still quit because I realized I was living my worst case scenario. 24, living at home with my parents in a state and city I do not enjoy. None of my friends are here, and I'm working a job I do not like and going into an office 4 days a week, now 5 days a week because they just implemented that before I quit. What does it matter? Like, I've been a mini adult my whole life, so if I don't blow up my life right now, I fear I'm going to blow it up at 30, and that might be catastrophic. So, yes, hello, I'm the idiot that quit her almost 90K job in North Carolina, was able to afford a luxury apartment all by herself, lived by myself, and then quit said job, moved to New York, and is now working minimum wage at a coffee shop for $16.50 an hour. Why did I do that, you ask? Who knows? Actually, I know. I was miserable and burnt out, and being an auditor was just not for me, and I needed to get back to New York. Am I happier in New York? Yes. Am I poorer in New York? Also, yes. I'm out here throwing out garbage, making sandwiches for people. I'm making all of the mistakes so that hopefully you don't have to.
I think I got it now, guys. If you quit your job, you won't have money. So don't make that mistake. You know, follow her. I'm getting these younger people now. I wish they would learn this from somebody, but some people have to learn things the hard way. I understand some people like or love their jobs. They're very fortunate to have that. You know, too bad you're not born 300 years from now. Maybe money won't exist. Maybe it'll be in a social world that you love. But for right now, you have to do what you have to do as an adult. Adult. You're not a child anymore. Some of us want to go back to those times, but there is no time machine.
Guess who put her 2 weeks in 2 weeks ago, and today was the last day of that 2 weeks, and now is unemployed again after applying to 400 jobs to get this one job that she just quit because she was so miserable in corporate America, and now has to apply for probably 400 more jobs in the next month.
When y'all said the job market was bad, I thought y'all meant like 6-figure jobs. Why did I just get rejected from McDonald's? I have a college degree, a 4-year degree. I'm working on a master's. Why is it this hard to get a job, chat? Let me know. I'm literally getting interviews. Sometimes I'm getting offers, and then they just back out last minute and ghost me. What is going on, bro?
I quit my 6-figure career, and now I'm a coffee barista. I know, every corporate millennial's dream. Even though I have no idea what I'm doing with my life, I don't know what's next, I'm always lost, I always feel uncertain, I'm in the unknown. It's days like today where I have to remind myself that this is the life that I wanted and that I dreamed for when I was working that miserable corporate job. I'll take this over pointless Zoom meetings, Excel files, making PowerPoint decks any day. Even though I'm still struggling to pay off my credit card debt, I'd take this life over that life any day.
Well, I never thought I'd be here, 29 and unemployed.
I quit my job last year to go travel the country. I built out this car, I lived in it for a large portion of it, and I traveled to many beautiful national parks over about 4 months. But now, I'm back looking for a job, and let me tell you, the job market is terrible.
I just quit my job with no backup plan. I feel like everyone tells you not to leave your job, especially my career that I have just worked really hard at, to not leave until you have a backup plan and a job lined up and 3 months worth of savings in your pocket. And I've done none of that because I have no plan, no backup job, barely any savings, just a knowing that staying would be worse and that there's better opportunities out there. So I'm starting over, and this could be fun or really stupid. So we'll find out. Wish me luck.
Well, good luck. I hope that helps. Keep your lights on. These people seem mostly to have some intellect, but lack common sense. Therefore, they don't have any cerebral aptitude. These are people you cannot help. They have to help themselves. They have to learn those hard life lessons that most Gen X and boomers learn. Hey, good luck to them. That's all I have for you guys today. If you like this, like it and subscribe. Appreciate you. Until the next time.